All right. Dirty Sports episode 902 live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Las Vegas, Nevada, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
I have to always realize where you're at. You're a man in the move, Mr. Praino.
Yeah. You're always in your basement with Roscoe by your side and your fictional girlfriend floating through the house. But I am on the move. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada for a full week, Andy. I arrived to the Rio All Suites Hotel here in Las Vegas I've checked in about an hour ago, and I will be here until I check out 1 week from today on Monday. Shows every night, 7 o'clock and 9:30 from tonight through Sunday. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, come on down to the Comedy Cellar at the Rio. If perhaps you live in Las Vegas and were a piece of trash to me on the internet over the last couple of weeks, telling me I was a clown for predicting that the Giants would beat the Vikings, perhaps you should come to the Comedy Cellar and buy me a bunch of Miller Lights because, dare I say, you owe me one.
Coming in hot.
I'm coming in hot. I am currently being fueled by sodium and nitrates, courtesy of the first of 3 Dangerwiches of the day.
So I just saw on Twitter, you tweeted that. So you have your 3 Dangerwiches per our bet. Now, we hadn't officially finalized it, but I think what I said the other day was correct. And I looked on Reddit, I should say, and that's what somebody said, that
I knew we had a combo.
No, but you said I was being too light to you there. I said just 3 in a day. That's what Reddit says.
I know, but I knew and that's what I'm going to do, by the way. But I knew we had discussed an actual thing.
Okay.
And because it was like, oh, we discussed it, but we didn't, and nothing was official, I was just going to give you 1 a day for a week or whatever. But I knew, because I remember when I saw the Reddit thing of, oh yeah, if you go into multiple days, you can cancel days with a dangerous smoothie, you can cancel days with a commercial. Now, luckily, it all eventually came out to us being tied. I mean, between being you winning by 1. Sorry. I got confused there for a second. We didn't tie. You won by 1. So it's 1 day, 3 meals, all 3 of my meals today, Dangerwiches. And can I just talk about the Dangerwich immediately?
I also want you to remind everybody, what are the ingredients in the original Russell Wilson Dangerwich sub?
I just had to do it, and I did it on Uber Eats. So I put it through. Like I had to basically, it's the spicy Italian, add ham.
Okay. So what's the spicy Italian?
The spicy Italian is pepperoni and salami. And then so basically the Dangerwich is Italian herbs and cheese bread, top of pepperoni, salami, Black Forest ham, bacon, and provolone cheese. It also has lettuce, green peppers, tomatoes, banana peppers, yellow mustard, and mayo. So it's essentially a spicy Italian, which when you order a spicy Italian on Uber Eats comes with cucumbers. So I removed the cucumbers, even though I probably shouldn't have. I could.
Yeah, should have kept those. I wouldn't have bothered.
But had to add the Black Forest ham, the bacon, the mayo, the mustard, and the banana peppers while losing the cucumbers. Now, there's a couple different things I want to talk about here. First of all, Subway baseline, disgusting. Second, I'm truly, I'm in the top 1 percentile of bacon fans in the world. Subway bacon is vile. Subway bacon tastes like stamps. Like, I don't even, it doesn't even, it's the texture is very strange. It almost tastes like leather, and like, it just tastes like salty leather, and it's horrific. And I'll eat every kind of bacon. Subway bacon is gross. Second thing, bacon, I like all kinds of things mixed with bacon. Here's something that does not go, and maybe it's just Subway bacon, but bacon and mustard is a very weird combo.
Yeah, I agree. Bacon and mayo is a better combo.
Bacon mayo, way better combo. You have it on a BLT, you have it on fucking whatever. Now, like, I was trying to think of like what I would eat. I'm like, I guess maybe if you gave me like a German pretzel with like bacon baked into it, I could dip that into a mustard. But bacon and mustard seems very weird. Again, this whole sandwich does feel like it was built by a robot. None of it makes sense.
Do you think Russell Wilson literally concocted this, or somebody else did?
I don't know, but here's my last and probably most important thing. Do you remember the fucking commercial? It's like, be careful.
Yeah.
It's spicy. Nothing spicy about this sandwich. I guess banana peppers and salami. But like, how like, Russell Wilson clearly not white, but like in his soul, very white. How white do you have to be for banana peppers to be like, be careful, be careful, it's got mustard? Like, dude, what are you talking? Nothing spicy about this sandwich. Like, at no point during eating the sandwich I was like, this sandwich is spicy. It's not spicy.
Now, I want to play. Here's the thing. I want to play the commercial again, but remember the sound effects might like cause ear damage to our listeners. Like, do I play it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay, but like, again, I'm giving you guys a warning now. I don't know how to warn this. This was the commercial, and again, the video does much better justice, but this is the commercial.
Dangerous ways, Dangerwich. I call this one the fork and knife. I call this one.
I don't even think you could cut through that Subway bacon with a fork and knife.
Big bite.
He's so cringe.
The left-handed. Dual wielding. The upside down. Here comes the airplane. And the most dangerous of all, the rapper.
Hey, you know what I love about the commercial underneath in subtext for like legal purposes? You know what it says? Do not eat wrapper. I'm wondering if the wrapper would enhance it. Would the wrapper enhance it?
Actually, when you bite into it, it sounds like I actually, when I first bit into it, I thought I had bitten into wrapper. Because it sounds like it. The Italian herbs and cheese, like, I don't know when when this cheese was like baked on there, but not this century. It is, I cannot tell you. And maybe it's just me as like an Italian New Yorker and like taking sandwiches so seriously. It's so disgusting. It's horrific. It's the worst. It's one of the worst sandwiches I've ever had.
And I'm glad you asked that, or you said that.
It tastes like a sandwich you would buy pre-wrapped at the airport.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, as an Italian New Yorker, is there some part of you, maybe a large part, they're taking the spicy Italian sandwich, it's using your ethnic background? Is there a lot of do you feel offended? Like, do you feel offended?
You know what? It's interesting because I went on to Uber Eats. I was like, I'm just going to order these 3, get this fucking Subway done. I'm going to eat my first one before the podcast even starts. I'll eat my second one this afternoon. I'll eat my third one after my show tonight. I'll be done with this. Horrible experience. So I went onto the Uber Eats app and I was like, they didn't have a build your own sandwich. You know what I mean? You can't just like order your ingredients. So you had to start with a base. And I'm like scrolling through the bases and I'm like, oh, I guess spicy Italian has most of it. And I'll just like add or subtract. And in that moment, I was like, how dare he? How dare he? First of all, it's so funny too, because like my dad loved spicy shit. I'm not even a big spice guy, but the idea of even calling this sandwich a spicy Italian is offensive to Italian people. And then also just the like, he's a robot. Like somebody had to tell him this is spicy, dude. There's nothing spicy about like banana peppers. Would anybody in the world describe banana peppers as like spicy?
No, I wouldn't.
Is it like they're sour?
Yeah, I'm not a big
like
banana pepper guy,
vinegary?
but like I'll eat them on a pizza, you know?
Yeah. Be careful. It's not spicy at all. He should have been like, be careful. This bacon's not actually meat. Be careful. This bacon's plastic.
You know what I wonder? I would love to know.
Be careful. This bacon started COVID.
What those people who made your 3 sandwiches were thinking. Like, I wonder if something went off or they were having a discussion at that Subway location. Like, who's eating this shit?
The lady, the girl who delivered it was like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was like, yep, feeling dangerous. And like just walked away from my sandwiches.
That's great. That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Subway's so bad. So I used to walk across the street to the Venice Beach one.
I want to know. I believe, I guess, I'm sure it's half baked. You know what I mean? I'm sure their bread is like half baked or whatever, where they get it mostly baked and then they put it in a thing and it like bakes the rest of the way. But my 2 questions are: when was this bread originally baked?
Yeah.
Was it? Do you think it was in 2023?
Good question.
And then also, like, I want to know the process of making this bacon. Oh, I want to know if there's a pig involved at all, at any point, in any year. It's definitely not from 2023. I'm not sure this bacon's from 2022.
Okay, so can we segue a little into some of these games?
Yes. I just want to say,
I'm glad we discussed it, though.
Shout out to the real sponsor of the Dirty Sports Podcast, now and forever, Miller Lite. Miller Lite is, I know it's not Miller Lite Day officially, but Miller Lite is everything for this show that Subway will never be. Like Miller Lite, I was like, we will always stand Miller Lite, even if they're not paying me. I will never not diss Subway no matter what on this podcast. And I cannot believe, I'm so happy that even your fraudulent victory was only 1 point. I'm so happy, because if this was like a 3-point win, I would not be okay.
Wow. Fraudulent victory. You know, we didn't get much traction. Nobody's commented.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. No dirt balls have been like, it's a fraudulent victory.
Right. The only two comments I saw on it at all, one person said that we need a rules committee.
Correct.
And the other one I saw was, again, our boy Vic Attack, Minnesota Vikings stan, who was calling me a bitch and a fucking loser and whatever. And it's like, I predict the Vikings will win and Praino will bitch like he bitched about the fucking wah, wah, wah. I need a new line on the Ravens game. By the way, he has been dark since an hour before that game ended. And I'm not sure that he's not already dead in the desert here in Vegas, but you know, if he is dead, he'll probably rise like the Undertaker sometime before next week 1 and convince himself again that this is the year Kirk Cousins is gonna do it. Like every shithead Vikings fan ever.
I saw a funny Vikings fan burner account, which was basically saying it was comparing Joe Burrow to Kirk Cousins, and I just was thinking, like, you seriously need clinical help. If you, but
Joe
like
Burrow tied Kirk Cousins in career playoff victories just yesterday alone.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's playoff career started and ended yesterday. He tied Kirk Cousins' playoff victories.
So if I was going to say the Dangerwich, is that what? How does that compare to the Vikings / Kirk Cousins?
I mean,
or does it not?
Here's the thing about a Subway Dangerwich. It is exactly as bad as I expected it to be. And like, I think that what it shares with the Vikings is you have to be a delusional idiot to not think the Dangerwich is going to be terrible. Much like the Vikings, you have to be a delusional idiot to have believed in them this year. But there was a lot of them out there, man. There's a lot of them out there. I have Vikings fan friends. Shout out to Dave Anders, man, texting me all weekend. He was, dude, yesterday morning, he was texting me. He's looking at Niners tickets for next week. I was like, bro, you're going to lose this game. I was like, I'm also looking at Niners tickets for 2 weeks from now when the Giants play them in the NFC Championship game. You fucking clown. Now, I don't actually think that's going to happen, but the Vikings.
So here's the deal. Obviously, we'll start there with the Vikings game.
Well, how dare you, Andy? We'll start with the Giants game. We'll talk about the Vikings, but we will start with the Giants game.
Have you? I just picture you just stroking where your chin is, just reveling in this victory.
Oh, I mean,
anticipating this episode.
Well, so there's a couple of things about what's about to happen on this podcast, and I mean, I think everybody who's on Twitter saw my Twitter gloating yesterday because I've had a lot of run-ins with a lot of Kirk Cousins idiots over the years. So I was like, well, let's give them their day in the sun. Let's make sure we get their retweets out there. But I actually have more to say about the Giants in this game than the Vikings. And the reason is, what do I have to say about the Vikings that I haven't been saying for this whole season and going back to Kirk Cousins signing his deal with the Vikings and before that when he was on the Redskins? What am I going to say today about that game from the Viking standpoint that I haven't already said? Like, all I have to say is I fucking told you it's hard goddamn work being so damn right all the time. I mean, did it come Andy, we're talking about a 13-4 Vikings team. They lost at home against a 9-7-1 team that everybody's going, oh, you're trash. You started hot. You backed in, blah, 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 blah. Last week, did I say I'm just very confident?
Yeah, I mean, look, we obviously both picked the Giants. Thought it was going to be a good game. It was a pretty good game. Now, the Giants were in control score-wise pretty much all game as far as the lead. The Vikings were constantly playing catch-up.
Vikings score first. Giants match.
Yeah.
Giants score. Then it gets, yeah. And then after that, it was all.
So obviously it's a team game. And obviously we'll focus a lot on Cousins, but I want to start there. I want to say, look, it's a team game. The Giants win as a team, right?
Yeah.
Vikings lose as a team. So I want to get that out of the way. It's a team game. Here's the crazy part. Cousins didn't play terrible by any means.
Sure.
He had a solid game, and then obviously we have to start there. I want to set up where I'm at. I'm at Paycor Stadium. I'm with Jay Lloyd, our Photoshop expert for Dirty Sports, Jay Lloyd. We went to the Bengals game, right? We're sitting in because we had Gold Stars club seats. So we're inside watching on TV. You can imagine the whole section before the Sunday night game is watching it. And we're going to hey, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? When he threw that pass on 4th and 8, he checked down. I'm like that guy in our whole section saying out loud, what? Like you've had a pretty good game as far as like you haven't made any errors. You've been on your throws. You're completing your passes. You have 2 touchdowns. But at the end of the game, you check down. You need 8 yards. It doesn't matter if you get an interception. It doesn't matter if you throw an incompletion. None of that matters. You have to get a first down. And to me, that's like a microcosm of his career.
Well, I've talked about this specific moment and this specific comparison before, but, I know not every DirtBall has an inventory of everything I've ever said on the show. So I'm going to repeat something a very specific thing. And I hope there's a Chargers fan out there that remembers exactly this moment, because I've talked about it before and I remember it very clearly. I don't remember. I think it was against the Jets, but I don't remember. So the conversation historically with Eli Manning was always he was tied to Phillip Rivers. They were traded for each other. The whole thing. Eli doesn't want to go to San Diego. I have said on this show, Phillip Rivers is great. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. But it is ludicrous. And it has always been ludicrous. And I told Sean Merriman it was ludicrous to his face to compare him to Eli Manning, because one of them was clutch when it mattered and one of them wasn't. And we have a fucking, grab bag of Eli Manning, literally all-time NFL. Like, Eli Manning has clutch moments that are in the top 5. He has 2 top 10 clutch moments in the history of the sport of football. Phillip Rivers, I goddamn know there's a Chargers fan out there that knows this. It was a game. It was either like a week 17 game where the playoffs were on the line, or it was a first round playoff game. But I remember it distinctly. It was a very similar situation to this. It was like 4th and whatever. He drops back to pass. He has all the time in the world. He pushes it like a little bit further than you would be like normally you'd be like, oh my God, he's got like the ball's got to be out at this point. And he's looking and he's looking and he's looking and he's looking, and his quarterback clock in his head went off and he threw it away.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He threw the ball out of bounds as if he was like, well, you live to fight another down. Like, don't take the sack. And I remember thinking, this single play is the reason Eli Manning will always be better than Phillip Rivers, because Eli Manning in the Super Bowl had the same kind of time. Then he was grabbed by the shoulder, then his hand thing, then he almost went down, then he escaped, then he fucking chucked it down the field to the middle of nowhere, because he's like, well, what the fuck else am I going to do? You got to just take a fucking shot. Yeah. And Phillip Rivers' brain could not comprehend, my quarterback clock has expired, throw it out of bounds. Dude, do anything but throw it out of bounds there. And people have been breaking down. I saw Kurt Warner breaking down the Kirk Cousins thing yesterday. You can't throw it to fucking, Jefferson in double coverage. Well, first of all, you did it in the Buffalo game, and he came down with a one-handed catch and saved your fucking miracle game. You can't throw it across. You can do anything you want. You could fucking scramble. The one thing you can't do is throw it to a tight end who chipped blocked on the play, catches a ball with his back to the field, 7 yards short of where your first down's got to be, with no head start with a guy on him. It's essentially Kirk Cousins in one play just said, I don't have the brain to win a Super Bowl. The end. So we can say how great Kirk Cousins played all the game. And he did. He played great. But in the end, what happened? The game was on the line. They're down 7. They have a chance to come down and win. And he fucking blew it. And then also, let's go one step further. if you could look up the tweets out there. If you put this game on Kirk Cousins and not the defense, blah, 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 blah. Kirk Cousins is the fucking defense. They had the number one defense in football. They went to the fucking NFC Championship game with Case Keenum. They decided that is not a winning strategy. We must get a quarterback. We must get a franchise quarterback. They overpaid Kirk Cousins. When you overpay a quarterback, you underpay other people. They had to let Diggs go. They luckily got Jefferson, who's still on a rookie contract. But the money they spent on Kirk Cousins, they had to take from fucking somewhere. And guess what? It came from the defense. Now their fucking defense stinks. Kirk Cousins is the reason your defense stinks.
Now, look, the defense, it does stink. I just want to say, like, their defense stinks, but good quarterbacks have to overcome. Like all I'm saying, and I don't think I'm picking on him by saying it. I just think here's what I say about good quarterbacks and great quarterbacks. They have to overcome other deficiencies in their team, whether it's a bad defense, a shitty offensive line, no weapons, you name it. Like, great quarterbacks, and I know most people don't think he's great. It's just delusional Vikings fans. Great quarterbacks overcome what are deemed deficiencies in other areas of the field. On that final drive, like, it really is important. You can't understate it enough. The cream of the crop rise when they have to. Like, that was always the thing on Matthew Stafford. You were always a Stafford guy. I was always like, all right, let's see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a prime example. Last year, they're losing the final drive. It's been a defensive battle all Super Bowl. He has to make that drive, and he does. And it's like, okay, man, you elevated him. You elevated for me. Like, you did a game-winning drive for the Super Bowl. Like, that's not easy to do. You elevated your status for me. You elevated your status for a lot of people. You have to do that. And Cousins just does not seem able to ever do that through 11 years.
Also, let's just go a little bit more specifically on the game he actually had. So, Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator of the Giants, who's now obviously getting head coaching fucking, interviews, going to interview with Indianapolis, I think. He's Mr. Blitz. The Giants blitz more than any team in football this year. And therefore, when you blitz, you usually play man-to-man. So yesterday, after the game that they have in Minnesota on Christmas Eve, yesterday, he goes zone the whole game. Doesn't blitz Kirk Cousins at all. At all. Brackets Justin Jefferson most of the game and plays a soft zone. He essentially, and let me just say this, because it was very frustrating the whole game, because I was like, this is a dangerous game, man. And also, I think, in the end, to me, if you push that blitz a little bit, like Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins is worst in the league for starting quarterbacks against the blitz. The moment in the game that almost made me kill myself was end of the first half. They have a holding call. They can get pushed back to 2nd and 19. They decline it, and they give the Vikings 3rd and 9. And I'm like, what are we doing? Oh, you think one stop you get off the field? Kirk Cousins on his own side of the field with 2nd and 19 has as good a chance of being a scoring opportunity for the Giants as it does of them getting a fucking first down. Like, put him behind the sticks, blitz the fuck out of him, make him make a mistake. But absolutely, it became clear throughout the game that the strategy was play soft, give him the underneath stuff. Don't let Justin Jefferson beat us with a huge play. Even give this tight end, which, goddamn, don't get me started on the Giants and their just historic inability to cover tight ends just through my whole entire lifetime. But it was a strategy. So then everybody goes, oh, Kirk Cousins, he completed 80% of his passes and he fucking blah, blah, blah. And he kind of did exactly what the defense was strategizing for him to do. Justin Jefferson didn't have a huge game, no huge plays. Keep everything in front of you. He worked a couple good drives, but like in the end, I can question it as I watch the game. Why don't we blitz this cunt who can't fucking handle the blitz? And they're going, because we don't need to. How about we just don't give up any huge plays and we outscore them because their defense stinks? To which I say, fine. But also, that has to be taken into consideration when you say, for the people who say, oh, Kirk Cousins didn't blow this game. Why? Because he did exactly what the Giants wanted him to do?
Yeah. We have a couple calls I want to play. A couple Kirk Cousins troll calls.
That shit is just so crazy to me that you kick out Case Keenum because he's not good enough to win you a Super Bowl, and you go out there and get yourself a quarterback that doesn't throw 8 yards on a 4th and 8. Shocker.
Where's he from?
I don't know, but I love him.
All right. We have another one.
Hey, what's going on? It's Troy from Jersey. So basically, I'm
No, is this it or is this a different one? Is Troy a different call? Hold on a second. No, it's this one. I'll get to him later in the show.
Hey, what's up, Joe and Andy? This is DirtBall Whoopi, brother of DirtBall Jimmy. And I just want to say the Giants went out there and conquered the amazing Kirk Cousins, who is the best of all time, apparently. Fuck Kirk Cousins. Fuck the Vikings. Condoms are for Jalen Hurts and Jerry Jones. Fuck them. I just want to say a shout out also to Randy Ruther, Andy Ruther. Thank you guys so much. Love your podcast. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
What, he's like 14. What are you, 14, bro? Are you old enough to be listening to us?
Yeah. I love that. I was like, he's like, fuck Jerry Jones, fuck Jalen Hurts. Shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to my LLB backpack, shout out Miller Lite.
You know what he's got? He's got that that young energy.
Yeah.
Like he's ready to give shout outs. He's ready to say fuck the world.
Yeah.
He's feeling that. Like
I want to shout out these socks my mom got me for Christmas.
He's got that young dirtball energy, and also that like young, I'm proud of my Giants energy.
Yeah.
Like he's ready. He's ready for the Cowboys.
But like, I know, Andy, that like all the dirtballs are like, oh, this is going to be an epic one. This is going to be an epic one. It's going to be like, and it's just like, I don't really like, what do I say that I haven't already said? Like, Kirk Cousins is a fraud and has always been a fraud. And if you want me to address each and every one of these people fucking, one by one, go to my Twitter. I did it. Where's our boy Bundy? I have not. Also, our hotline is open for you guys who fucking Bundy. Call us.
310-359-8365.
I demand an apology. Jeff Vick, call us. I demand an apology. Fucking the Wanye Best, call me. Like you're just and God damn it. Here's the last thing that I want to say about Kirk Cousins before we talk about the fucking actual good quarterback in this game. Guys, just when you're sitting at home watching your favorite team in your fucking lame ass purple fucking jerseys,
shots fired.
Okay. Doing your fucking skull, convincing yourself this guy's the best and this guy's the best, and we're going to the fucking Super Bowl this year. Just know that some of us have been doing this for a long fucking time and get paid good fucking money to make sports content. And it is our fucking life. And the reason that I've gotten this far is because I'm fucking good at it and you're fucking not. Praino calling out all the people that didn't wear a fucking helmet. I'm not saying you need to wear a helmet. I think that I think that people who thought Kirk Cousins was a good quarterback should wear a helmet. They should wear a helmet on the short bus they take to fucking school. Because you're fucking deficient in the brain. It was always there. It was always there and it was always fucking obvious. And what's pathetic, and this is what's going to be the transition into the fucking Daniel Jones talk, you're all just fucking fantasy watchers. You're all just stat watchers. You don't know you don't know your fucking asshole
Well,
from your elbow.
That's real quick.
You wouldn't know a 5-star Michelin restaurant from the fucking Dangerwich I just had when it comes to football. You're just stat watchers.
Well, that's the thing. So as I've gotten older, and I was actually talking about this last night when I was watching the game, like you can see plays. Like I was pointing out certain plays specifically that like certain throws Burrow was making. And I was saying like to, some of the people I was with in my section, I'm like, people don't realize how hard some of these throws are when you're under pressure, when you're getting blitzed. I was like, people don't, the common fan, like you said, is looking at the stats and they're saying, oh, that throw only went for 8 yards. But you're saying, look at that window on the elite quarterbacks.
Daniel Jones is trash. You're not going to win a playoff game. Daniel Jones is trash. Why? Because you watched him with Pat Shurmur? Because you watched him with Joe Judge? Because you watched him with no offensive line? Because you're watching him currently with no wide receivers? Literally scrap heap wide receivers? Guys, watch the fucking game. He turns the ball over too much. Oh, he fumbles too much. You know why he fumbles too much? Because he gets fucking strip sacked. Suddenly they have a competent coach. He's not getting strip sacked every fucking play. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, take a minute. Get football for fucking dummies.
One last thing about Kirk Cousins. I saw the headline, and I think somebody might have posted this in Reddit. It's an SB Nation story, and it says Kirk Cousins is never going to win anything because he's a Costco hot dog. Well, as a Costco hot dog guy, in fact, I just had one on Friday. He's not a Costco hot dog. You know why? So here's what a Costco hot dog is. It's $1.50.
Yeah, Costco hot dog is good value.
That's what I was about to say.
Kirk Cousins is the opposite of good value.
Yeah, a Costco hot dog, you get a hot dog this big. So like, take me. I was starving.
Case Keenum's a Costco hot dog.
100%. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a Costco hot dog and a drink for $1.50, and that's gonna time me over for the next 3 hours. Like, this is great value. Now, if that Costco hot dog and drink cost me $5.99, then it would be Kirk Cousins.
Actually, it would be Kirk Cousins. It would cost you $40 million. Hear me out, Andy. Imagine you went to Costco, okay? Imagine you went to Costco and you were like, I have $300 for all of my fucking shit, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, I got to get fucking cereal. I got to get underwear. I got to get meats for taco. I got to get I don't know what the fuck you buy at Costco. TVs, couches, all the shit you buy. Can you imagine if you went with your $300 and it cost you $96 for your Costco hot dog that you ate on the way in? Then it'd be Kirk Cousins. He's a third of your fucking Costco salary cap for the fucking day. You're like, oh shit. Now I've only got $200 left because I ate a $100 hot dog on the way in. Then it'd be Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. So you're pretty amped. Tug and I were texting about like Daniel Jones before the game, and Tug had a funny joke about, calling it. He's going to start his Hall of Fame career now. And I said, troller moron, joking back.
Here's the thing about Daniel Jones, and obviously my opinion has shifted on Daniel Jones with this year hugely the last few weeks, certainly. But when people have asked me the whole time, 3 years of Daniel Jones' career, is he the guy? Is he the guy? Is he the guy? How can I answer that? I would always say that. I go, how can I answer that? How can I answer whether or not he's the guy when he's not protected, when he has no one to fucking throw to? When Saquon Barkley was in, he looked great. And when Saquon Barkley was out, he looked trash. When Joe Judge is running quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 8, like how do you judge a guy? And it's the same thing. And I'll say this always as well, is like, Eli Manning better get in the Hall of Fame. But like, the idea that the end of Eli Manning's career, when the Giants were fucking terrible, is I always say this about LeBron, Jordan, Eli, Peyton, Tom Brady, whatever, is like, you can't hurt your legacy. You can only add to your legacy. That's why I would never say Russell Wilson had a legacy after 3 years. He won something, but Eli Manning had a legacy 14 years into his career. And the last couple of years, he's playing behind no offensive line. People are like, this is why he's fucking not a Hall of Famer. Why? Because his team fucking suddenly stinks and he didn't just quit. Like, how would you judge Daniel Jones on anything up until fucking this year? He has a competent head coach, and suddenly he has
to be fair,
a year-long combo. Forget no wide receivers. He has a year-long combo of competent head coach, healthy Saquon Barkley, all-pro left tackle. Suddenly, Daniel Jones figured out how to play quarterback.
Well, you do improve. Let's not disregard that completely. Like, guys improve, guys evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is his fourth year. Is this his fourth year? Right?
Yeah. And the Giants I imagine that there are Giants executives who want to jump off a building for not picking up his fifth-year option before the season started. But shocker, Josh Allen, is he accurate enough for the NFL? Is he just all arm strength? A couple years with Brian Daboll, he's the fucking MVP candidate coming into this year. Year without Brian Daboll, now he's got 30 fumbles and 30 fumbles and interceptions this year. Suddenly he's not quite as what he was last year. I listened to Bill Simmons this morning. Bill Simmons called fucking Daniel Jones. What was the phrase he used? Like thinking man's Josh Allen. He's like, he's playing the way you want Josh Allen to play. And Josh Allen's playing recklessly. Daniel Jones made 0 bad decisions yesterday. That's where you got to start. That's where you got to start in the NFL.
Well, here's the thing.
Even listen, you could say that the difference in this game, 31-24, Daniel Jones made 0 bad decisions. Kirk Cousins made 1. If you wanted to break it down that simply, the end, game over. You think Daniel Jones is throwing it 8 yards short of the sticks on 4th down? No, he's probably fucking scrambling. The dude went for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 75. Now, listen, we can get into, do I think that this is a long-term strategy? Running Daniel Jones as your lead running back? Absolutely fucking not. But the same thing I've been saying, the Giants need him to run right now. They need to change their offense with free agency and actually getting him some receivers, with playing some defense, with whatever, where him being able to run is a bonus, but not needed. They need him to run to win now. And that is not a long-term strategy. Not for Lamar Jackson, not for Josh Allen, not for Daniel Jones. This is not a you can't give him $30 million a year this summer and then ask him to run the ball 15 times a game.
No, it's not sustainable.
But the bottom line is he had the best quarterback game of the whole weekend, save for maybe Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy had a lot of fucking, it was a lot less pressure in the second half.
Yeah. So you guys are
all the quarterbacks we saw: Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, look, my
Kirk
thing
Cousins
that people forget. You talk about not making the mistake, guys. Come playoffs, these games are going to be fun. I mean, look at these games. Outside of that Seahawks Niners game, which was good in the first half, these were all games, man. Like, it's the playoffs. And people forget that, right? Like, people forget. I know some of these lines were big and there were some big spreads out there, but guys, this is the playoffs, man. And teams traditionally win who win the turnover battle. Like you can't make mistakes. Now, the Jags Chargers game is like a whole outlier for that, because that's a whole other debacle, I think. And I put the 100% on the coach. But you got to take care of the ball. And if Daniel Jones can have 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, that's a great start.
be the team's leading rusher, throw for 300 yards, throw for 2 touchdowns, punt the ball 1 time.
So you're for sure against the Eagles.
Yeah.
What's that line at right now?
7.5.
Interesting.
I believe it opened at 7.5. I think it swung down and then it maybe went back up.
I know since you're in Vegas, you're gonna put a little money on that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. And you asked me the question last episode, and you kind of said, "Oh, isn't it a little unfair to say, hey, you're confident, but also if you lose this game, it's not a big deal." It's like, I was confident that we could beat the Vikings. I am not confident that we can beat the Eagles. Can the Giants beat the Eagles? Of course they can. In fact, I like the Giants' chances of beating the Eagles, but I am not confident the Giants are going to beat the Eagles. In fact, I would say I'm fairly confident that the Eagles are going to beat the Giants. Now, I think we have a better coach. I think we're hot. I think we're not coming off a bye week, which sometimes helps certain teams, sometimes hurts certain teams. I think Jalen Hurts' injury is being downplayed. I think that they're going to be rusty. There's certainly an opportunity, but it's in Philly. I also think that there's some portion of this Giants team that like me is like, this was good enough.
Yeah.
Like this is enough for this season. Like, it certainly is enough. Like, you know that you can use Daniel Jones going forward. You know he can be your guy. Like, in this game alone. And honestly, that is where you get to with the Eagles game, is like, the Eagles are the 1 seed. The Eagles are 7.5 point favorites. Do you play them tight in Philadelphia in a playoff game? And does Daniel Jones play well? Then it's like, win or lose, who gives a fuck? Because I can tell you one thing. Can the Giants beat the Eagles? Yes, they can. Can the Giants win the Super Bowl? No. The Giants can't win the Super Bowl this year. And I say that the same way I look at, Kirk Cousins can't, or this guy can't, or that guy can't. Like, this team isn't, like, their roster is not good enough.
Yeah.
Their roster's not good. Their coaching's good enough. Some of these guys will get their playoff reps and be around, but there's still major holes in this Giants roster. And if you beat an Eagles team, which they could, I just don't think that. I just think they're completely outgunned in a potential Niners matchup. And I think that they're probably almost as outgunned against just about any team left in the AFC besides probably the fucking Jaguars. The best, the Jaguars. And then I guess maybe in some sort of Super Bowl magic where they pulled the Chiefs, who also have a suspect defense. So you could play it, but against teams with like good defenses and good offenses, like, I just think that they're just completely outgunned. But who gives a shit, man? Coach, quarterback, offensive line, defense. We've got a fucking defensive strategy. We've got players, young players on the defense to build around. We've got the coach, no doubt about it. We probably have we have a guy who jumped into the top 5 coaches in the NFL class in year fucking 1. We've got at least one all-pro piece on the offensive line, and now guys filling in and playing well. You have to improve that. You just have to shore up some of these roster holes, and then you can do it. But the bottom line is, unlike the confusion between the people who are like, oh, it's a Super Bowl or bust league, is like, the Giants are building toward a Super Bowl. The Vikings are building away from a Super Bowl. That's a huge difference. And this is where they crossed. The Vikings are headed back down away from where they were. The closest they got to Super Bowl is NFC Championship game. They're going the other way, and they just crossed a team that's on its way toward a Super Bowl. And I just honestly don't know how somebody knows football, watches the game that the Giants played. I don't care how good the defense is, and just looks at the decision-making, the quality of the throws, the cleanliness of the offense, the creativity of the offense, and doesn't say, yeah, man, if they can figure out how to pay Saquon, Andrew Thomas, Daniel Jones, and Thibodeau, and sign a free agent or two and keep drafting well, that you don't go, this is going to be the team of the NFC East for a while. And that makes me extremely happy as a Giants fan and also as a fucking Daniel Jones fan. Like, the guy was getting shit on in the New York media because he was on a shitty team. It's a big difference between that and what happened to Zach Wilson, who's on a team that probably makes the playoffs if he just fucking get his head out of his ass.
Yeah. Well, coaching obviously is very important. And I think I talked about how these games are closer. The defenses step it up. Traditionally, you have less scoring. Coaching, in my opinion, could not be more evident in some of these losses. Like Mike McDaniel, I liked him out the gate. Now I'm just like, what is this guy? Like, you're good enough coach to be a 13.5-point underdog with a third-string quarterback in Buffalo, to be right there. Like, you're good enough coach to get your offense playing that well. And then the whole thing with the fourth down on 4th and short, it's mind-boggling. And I have the clip. I feel like this didn't get enough press. Did you hear what he said?
No.
Did you hear what he said? You're right there, man. You're driving to tie or win the game. His excuse, I'm like, do you have CTE, dude? Did somehow Tua transfer his CTE and all his concussions to you? His excuse, and I'm going to play it here. It sounds like a kid lying to their parents when they get caught doing something, where you looking at your teenage son just going, what are you talking about? None of this makes sense. This is what Mike McDaniel said in the post game. Praino, try to just decipher all this. This was when asked about that play where if you didn't see it, they're around midfield. It's 4th and like half a yard.
Yeah. And they take a delay game.
They take a delay game. But here's what's crazy. I don't know if you saw, because somebody posted a great video on it. I don't know if you saw, but they actually got more than a lot of time.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
They didn't just get the 35 seconds. It somehow was reset, which seemed like it was almost accidental at 25 after it was below 25. They had more than the normal time. This was his response to what happened.
Couple of different scenarios. It's something that, obviously will be a point of emphasis. Excuse me. In the off season, but there's compounding variables. There was some crowd noise that had to do with mishearing some digits of the wristband. There was some issues with.
I'm going to stop it right there.
Yeah. I would honestly say you could have stopped after the first 4 words.
Compounding variables.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw this. A lot of tweets were going out. It almost looked like he vaped. I'm thinking, are you high? Is he high right now? Legit. I'm not even making a joke.
The bottom line is with a lot of these coaches, and you see it, and Mike McDaniel is a great example. It's like he goes to a team. He's an offensive guy. He goes to a team and changes their offense. Their offense is great.
Sure.
But there's more to being the head coach when you're an offensive guy or a defensive guy than bringing your strategy that you use on another team and bringing it in. You have all this other shit now, and you have to be able to, turn the reins over and let somebody else call your plays. Let them say that they have that you have confidence in them being inside your brain. You work hand in hand. They're going to call the game as good as you will or whatever. If you can't do that and focus on the thing, I'm going to say it again, dude. Look at our coach. Look at the New York Giants coach. There was 2 situations down the stretch, one deep in Vikings territory and one where they were not even at midfield yet, where they had short yardage to put the game away. And Dable went to the QB sneak with Daniel Jones. It's like, what? What variables, dude? You have a yard. Put your quarterback under the center. Like at this point, put your quarterback under the center, and like you don't have a hand signal for QB sneak.
He's saying very compounded variables. He is going in front of the whole world and talking about crowd noise. Well, no shit, Mike McDaniel. You're on the road in a playoff game in Buffalo, of all places. Of course, dude, you're using crowd noises.
It's 30 degrees out. No one in the stadium's wearing a shirt. You didn't think they'd be screaming?
And I'm going to, dude, you know what this is to me? This is pathetic. Like, this is pathetic. Or he's just stoned. He looks stoned. I'm going to post the video on Twitter. He straight up looks high. This isn't even that. The rest, I'm going to play the next 30 seconds.
The huddle of communication and getting to the line of scrimmage, and there's the excuse that you don't use, but that is a real compounding variable.
That you don't use, but there's a real compounding. Why does he keep talking about compounding variables? Dude, I'm telling you, he's stoned.
That's all the stuff that you do in this business is you never stop finding the things that you can improve on, and it was a piece of the reason why we're unable to come out with a victory, but it definitely wasn't the only reason. There's
it's a kid doing a book report for a book he didn't read.
That's what it is. That's a better analogy than I gave. That's a great one.
Like what happened in Huckleberry Finn? He's like, well, I mean, there's a lot of variables, but I know, there's a raft, and you use a lot of excuses for why Huck did what he did, but we're not going to talk about him, and the bottom line is next year when somebody else reads this book, they're going to come away with different themes than I did, So when you ask me what I think, it's a difficult question because isn't my thought my own? And why am I why don't you think about what your themes of Huckleberry Finn are, teacher, and then we'll discuss in the off season. Like what's amazing about it is like why like we're talking about fourth or a foot or whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying.
How hard is it to just be like,
QB sneak and the guy can push your back? So I was complaining about that last night. Same thing. A multiple third and fourth shorts. And I'm saying, why are you ever, I don't care the team. Why are you ever on fourth and less than a yard, ever not doing a QB sneak? Like, you can push the guy in his back now. If you can't get a half a foot or a foot or whatever it is, you don't deserve to win. I would be terrified if I'm a Dolphins fan. And he can maybe clean this up because he's obviously a good offensive coach. No one's debating that. But like, this is mind-boggling to hear.
But it gets away from you so fast. If you don't, I mean, this is going to be an easy transition into Brandon Staley, but like it gets away from you so fast where you have a couple of these and it's fucking hard to get it right after a while. I mean, there's not a lot of people who get Andy Reid's like 15 years to figure out how to strategically coach, and he's still not that great at it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a league that's going to be like chew you up and spit you out if you can't get a call in to just snap the ball.
Yeah. No, you're right. And that was my point of like the coaching. You can be a great offensive coach. And obviously Mike McDaniel is. I'm not going to debate that. But this stuff matters. I mean, the Brandon Staley, like you're wasting Justin Herbert. You're wasting a good defense. You're wasting Bosa. Like you're wasting guys who are on these rookie deals. You're just wasting them. There is no excuse to blow a 27-point lead in the playoffs.
And that
There's no excuse.
And that is where you're talking about, like, if you're a call the plays and you're making these decisions and you're doing this and you're doing that, you have to also have as part of your like coaching repertoire being like, hey, this game runs 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, even if Justin's going to call the plays at the line and he's going to like audible to what he fucking wants, and we're going to run let's just pretend, Andy, he fucking loves Justin Herbert. And he's not taking his foot off the gas, and he's not going to get conservative and whatever. And so you're only going to run the ball 7 times in the second half. You're up 27. You're going to run the ball 7 times in the second half. How about just remembering, if you just have the lead when the clock runs out, you win. How about take the play clock to 0 sometimes?
Yeah.
How about take it to 1? Why are you running the ball 7 times in the second half and snapping the ball at 25 seconds? If you don't like, if strategically my 10-year-old nephew playing Madden is better than you, then I don't really give a shit how creative you are offensively or how creative you are defensively. Because the bottom line is, look at a guy like Steve Kerr in the NBA, to cross sports for a minute. Steve Kerr, strategically, has been open that he does cover songs. He steals plays from everybody. He stole plays from D'Antoni. He steals plays when he sees the other team doing it. He stole plays from fucking Brad Stevens. He steals plays from this guy. He steals plays. He doesn't need to be creative. He watches basketball. If you watch if you need a fucking running play and you're a defensive guy, hey, the Giants just showed you the crazy fucking Statue of Liberty play yesterday. Steal it. But if you don't understand how time works, you're not allowed to be a coach in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a debacle. And you know what? The charge. It sounds like the Chargers are going to keep him.
It's unbelievable. I was going to say, I know you and I both agree. Like, that is a extremely fireable offense that you have to do. You have to fire him. I know they've had so many coaches, and I've seen some blowback from people saying how many guys you want these guys to go through?
As many as it takes to find guys who understand time.
So I forget which former, was it Sean Phillips? I think maybe it was Sean Phillips, a former Charger, who said, look, they fired Marty Schottenheimer at 14-2. Or maybe he was, I forget. Maybe I'm completely misquoting it. They're arguing the other way. I mean, like, they fired Marty and they're not, maybe it was they're not going to fire this. You know, they won 10 or 11 games. It's like, when you have the level of talent that they have.
But here's the other thing. We're not talking about this guy, his spotless record. And then in his first playoff game, was this their first playoff game?
Correct.
The spotless coaching record, and then his first playoff game, there's this epic disaster, and the moment was too big for him. Whatever. It's like, dude, this dude's blown fucking 8 games in 2 years.
Yeah, I guess Sean, all he tweeted was, so if Marty got fired after going 14-2 in a playoff loss, what is next for BS? Well, he should be fired.
Well, yeah, but he absolutely should be fired because, and
there's a history.
I'm sorry, and I'm gonna. Randy Ruther, if you're watching, this isn't a shot at you, but you're just the person that I saw that made this kind of comment. And now I also know that Randy is coming from a very Bengals like the Randy Ruther is a character that is a psychotic Bengals fan. It also happens to be Justin, and he's and that's who he is in real life. But like tweets like, don't ever compare Justin Herbert to Joe Burrow.
I agree. I don't like that tweet at all.
It's like, what? His coach doesn't understand how time, like, how is this on Justin Herbert?
Yeah. Well, and I saw a lot of that.
The bottom line
Bengals
is
fans do
the
that.
bottom line is you have an elite quarterback, at least talent wise,
You do.
and you're fucking stumbling your way into the playoffs, and you're blowing huge leads there. Brian Daboll's the Chargers coach. Justin Herbert probably wins the MVP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't like that take, not to just destroy Justin, but you see that, especially from Bengals fans, which I don't know why. Bengals fans, for the record, this whole Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow, I don't know what your insecurity is, because Bengals fans clearly have some weird insecurity with Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert's great. I've always been like, dude, he's the real fucking deal.
Now, you can say, like, the thing is, I just don't think that you can judge the thing with Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow's already proven he's clutch.
For sure.
The idea that Justin Herbert proved he is unclutch in that game is ludicrous. The clutch isn't a factor in fucking that. Like, run the ball. Run the fucking ball. You have 27 points. They turn the ball over 5 times. You should come out and say, after halftime, we're going to run the ball. And if we have 4 straight possessions of running the ball and they fucking stop us, well, then we'll figure it out. If they score a touchdown on every single one. But otherwise, not to mention the Bosa penalty, that was the difference in the game, in them being able to go for 2. Like, he threw his helmet. The coach picked it up and he threw it again. Like, we have literal video evidence that one of your, not just your star player, but your number 1 defensive star player has 0 respect for your head coach.
0. By the way, that scene of throwing the helmet and the coach picking him up and him throwing it again gave me extreme Latimer from the program vibes.
Yeah.
Like with the hair and the roid rage. Like the Bosa brothers, which by the way would be a great wrestling duo, the Bosa brothers. I'd love to see that. Definitely are taking some shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Who wins in a fight, the Bosa brothers or the Watt brothers? Now, the Watts have 3.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the Gronks over all of them.
Ooh.
I just feel like the Gronks don't give a fuck.
How many Gronks are there?
A lot.
Like Cousins just jumping off the top roof.
I think the Gronk dad is supposedly like the fucking one. Like the Gronk dad, like puts them all in a sweaty basement and they all drink Bud Lights and like work out together. Like I think that they're on the record of saying that.
Really?
Yeah. Now I think more of the brothers would have made it into the Hall of Fame if they had been drinking Miller Lights. Just me personally, that would be the adjustment I gave to Gronk's dad. But otherwise, I'll take the Gronks over. I'll take the Gronks versus the Watts and the Bosas.
Wow. A little Royal Rumble, a brother Royal Rumble. I think the Bosas would do some damage. I don't trust the Watts. You know why I don't trust the Watts? You know why I don't trust the Watts? They did an ad campaign with Subway.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying. Sus.
Exactly.
Totally sus right there.
But that Joey Bosa penalty, and it wasn't for throwing his helmet, but that penalty essentially cost him the game, right?
Yeah.
Chargers Joey Bosa breaks silence on his inexcusable behavior. And I'm not sure if they're talking about the helmet throw or him storming the Capitol on January 6th, but I'll open the article. Oh,
so
I'm not going to an app. Get fucked.
I love that. Yeah. And you know what stinks for me as a football fan, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong. As a fan of the game, especially NFL playoffs, I think the Chargers had a legitimate shot to beat the Chiefs. I give a very small shot of the Jets, just because the Chargers have done it, even with that clown of a coach. You know, they've gone to Arrowhead. Yeah.
the whole thing.
We all know how hard the division is. And you're going to see it this week, I think, with your Giants, where like I'm for sure taking the Giants in that spread just because I saw it last night firsthand. Everyone's saying backup quarterback, and I'm saying, dude, it's the Ravens Bengals. It's going to be a grind out. Like no team is going to just be lighting up the score. And that's what you would see, in my opinion, if you had a Chargers Chiefs. It wouldn't be as high scoring as people think. They know each other, like you said. And now it sucks because I just don't give the Jags much of a chance. Now, kudos to the Jags. Like that's a huge win. That's a huge win for Trevor Lawrence's career. He started off terribly, turned it around the second half. That's a huge win. It just sucks because I'm already, again, maybe I'm being false and maybe I'm wrong. I'm just already checking the Chiefs into the AFC Championship.
Which is great. Listen, I'm in a playoff bracket. I sent you guys a picture of my playoff bracket. I'm in a playoff bracket every year. I picked the Chargers to upset the Chiefs. And I agree with you. And I mean, part of that was like, did I think it was going to happen? No, but you got to make a different, you got to zig where other people zag at some point. That's how you win these things. I took the Giants to win in Minnesota, and I took the Giants to win versus Philly before losing to the Niners. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, what's funny is the Chiefs. If you listen to me talk about the Chiefs through the course of the year, I'm like, oh, it's still the Chiefs. It's still the Chiefs. It's still the Chiefs. It's like we had that fun little story last year with the Bengals, and I know everybody's on the Bills, but like to me, it's like we're just pretending the Chiefs don't exist, and then down the stretch, the Chiefs defense just so fucking suspect. And so I go into last week when we go to the preview show, and I'm down on the Chiefs. And I'm like, I think the Chargers might beat the Chiefs, but I definitely think the winner of a fucking Bills-Bengals game has a great chance of beating the Chiefs. And then the Chiefs don't even play this weekend. And suddenly, I'm like, are the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl? Because the Chargers lose. I don't think the Jags, especially with Peterson being a fucking Andy Reid, coaching tree guy, beat the Chiefs now. I think it could be a fun game, but I don't think they beat them. And suddenly, the Bengals didn't look great. The Bills didn't look great.
No,
the Bengals are losing offensive linemen. They're dropping like flies. The Bills are almost losing games to fucking Skylar Thompson, who throws for 200 yards on 45 attempts. Chiefs didn't do anything but not show up. And I'm like,
I agree. No, that's my sentiment. That's 100% my sentiment. It's the same exact thing.
And now we got like Andy Reid after a bye and like.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like, I think this Bills-Bengals game is going to be just a real close, tight game. I also had a lot of questions last. Like again, the Bengals, they cannot run the ball lately. Like if you run 50, like you won that game on one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen. And you can imagine being there.
Yeah, what was that scene like? It
was insane. Bananas.
What was the scene like? Don't say bananas because it makes me think of the disgusting banana peppers. That smell is permeating this room.
Yeah, you're going to have to get it clean.
It was just 2 minutes ago, and you just told me what it was. It's just 2 minutes ago. I was like, is there a gas leak in this room or something like that? Like, this room smells horrible. Do I have to have change rooms? Like, and then I was like, it's that fucking sandwich. The atmosphere for the Bills, the now infamous Bills-Bengals game we went to, was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been around for a professional football game. What was the pregame atmosphere last night? What was the in-game atmosphere? What was the atmosphere like from the fumble return and then post-game? Go.
It was pretty good. Like, I went to the same tailgate, the Bengal gym tailgate. Hushmanzada was there. People were getting turned. Hushmanzada gave a nice little rally cry. He led the Who Day chant.
Do we need to start talking about the Randy Ruther curse? Andy Ruther goes, who shows up and they win? Randy Ruther goes, there's too many people there for us to even see Anthony Munoz. We're pissing in the woods. The game doesn't even finish.
That's pretty funny.
His boy, TJ Hushmanzada, the first game back, TJ Hushmanzada's there. He's wearing his All-Pro jersey for some his Pro Bowl jersey for some reason.
Hoosh is the man. He and then he led they do that ruler of the jungle. He led that. People were pretty turned. And you can imagine 8:15 game. People were lit. Dude, I saw a guy, speaking of people being lit. I don't know why. Like, it's because I don't drink and I'm so aware of everything. This guy, I wish that I had film. As we were leaving the stadium, as me and Jay Lloyd were leaving the stadium, this guy, dude, he came so close. He's walking down the steps. He's so drunk. Probably like a 50-year-old dude. He's wearing a Jamar Chase jersey. Like, little overweight white guy. He's falling down the stairs and like caught the rail, like stumbling down multiple. And I'm watching this, and I so wanted him to just eat it and just roll down the stairs. And he catches it. And I don't know why, seeing like just how he looked visually and wearing a Chase jersey made it even funnier to me. And then he goes to the security guard or whatever, whoever's like at the stadium, and he starts talking to him. And it was like he was speaking a different language. He was so drunk, and he had this giant B medallion. You know how we have like the L chain?
Yeah.
But it was like a B for Bengals over the Jamar Chase jersey. And I just couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, how's this? At my head, I'm thinking, how's this guy getting home tonight? Like, where's this guy going? But anyway, to answer your question, the scene was pretty good. They did the light thing again before the show where everybody holds up their phone.
Right.
And the energy was definitely, like the word I used for the Bills game, was palpable. Like, you could feel it. And think about it. The Bengals drive right down. They don't get touched, and they get a field goal. The Bengals go up 9-0. They missed an extra point. Like, when they went up 9-0, I said game over. Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, game over. Huntley's already thrown an interception. But I'll tell you what about Huntley, man. He is athletic. He made some plays, and also some wild plays.
Yeah.
If you watch that game, he's pretty good. There was definitely nervous energy after that. When the Ravens came back, the energy was nervous. And you would
say he's significantly better than Anthony Brown?
He's a lot better than Anthony Brown. But I'm going to say this, and this might, look, here's the thing. This might piss off Ravens fans or Lamar Jackson fans. I'm going to say it. I know they did nothing under Lamar Huntley. Or Lamar Huntley, as Tyler Huntley, I combined them. As the quarterback during the regular season, he's pretty done it. Like, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say it. The drop off, there's obviously a drop off from Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley. But it's not the biggest drop off, in my opinion. And again,
well,
I only saw.
I mean, I think this is, again, what
it takes. Lamar has that game-breaking speed. That's the difference.
I think there is a significant drop off between, but I think you need to look at every one of these things about the actual situation, the finances of it, where you're at for a Super Bowl, like that. You have to be saying we're playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So the thing is just like, to me, if you're the Ravens and you sign Lamar Jackson to an extension, or if you franchise Lamar Jackson, or if you whatever, at least to me, you're saying we're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If you start Tyler Huntley by choice, yeah, the drop off isn't the hugest drop off ever, but it's significant enough where I'm going, you're not trying to win the Super Bowl. You're not putting your best foot forward to win the Super Bowl. Now, you could say the management or Harbaugh are saying, like, let's not extend Lamar, or let's trade Lamar, or let's do whatever, and then we'll go with Huntley. But the try to win the Super Bowl part is, we're going to build everything else, and then we're going to figure out the quarterback. That's okay for me too. But the bottom line is all of this stuff, it's always like, what is your situation? And to me, when you look around the league right now, with Lamar Jackson healthy, are the Ravens like a sure thing Super Bowl contender?
No.
Are they for sure an AFC championship game
No.
participant? Like, no. So then the question becomes like, what are you're so that's a big financial fucking push. Like, to me, I was tweeting back and forth with my buddy John Sampanero, who's a big Mets guy. We're talking, he's a Jets fan. He's like, give us Lamar, we'll win the Super Bowl. And I was like, first of all, yes, he helps you win the Super Bowl. But he's not even on the field right now for the fucking Ravens. Like, I was like, yes, your defense is really good. And yes, he's dynamic. And yes, you have offensive pieces to go around him. But what's that window like?
Yeah.
So now you go and you get Lamar. Let's say you're the Jets. You go and you get Lamar Jackson. You have to extend him, right? Because that's what you're doing. Could you win the Super Bowl? Yes. But it better happen the first 2 years. So he's not going to get younger. He's not going to get healthier.
So last night's
cheaper,
in my opinion. Well, the difference again, turnovers, right? That's the 7-point swing. They're about to score a touchdown or at least get a field goal. That play was insane, and they scored. It's the same seats we were in, Joe, before, and so you know where that's at. So they scored. The Bengals. Hubbard scored that 98-yard touchdown run right in front of me. Like, that place was going insane. Like, Jay Lloyd, and he knows this, and he'll verify this, sitting next to him, he was really worried. And for sure, it's like,
worried about what?
Them losing. And, and people I went to the game with, I'd never seen the Bengals win at that stadium. I hadn't been to many. I counted it out. And I told people were like, just get the fuck out of here. Like, the Ruther curse could not have been stronger. And I could be right. Like, or I could be wrong on this, but I came off the top of my head, my first Bengals game there, because I never lived here. So you basically have that option when you're home for Christmas for the most part. And a lot of times they're not home, and I didn't care. I think I'd been to 5 games there starting in 2005. So it was like an era. It was like Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton, Joe Burrow. I'd never seen them win. So like the Ruther curse was strong going in. That stadium went nuts, but I'll say this. They mishandled it. They ran all over the Bengals. All over. The fact that J.K. Dobbins, which I couldn't figure out, he had 13, I'm looking right now. He had 13 carries for 62 yards. He had 4 receptions for 43 yards. So he had 105 total yards. He should have got way more touches.
Well, he's pretty open about the fact that he should have gotten touches on the goal line.
Way more touches. Like, they basically said, we can't do shit with throwing the ball as far as downfield. Now, they did have that one big play on Eli Apple, which was hilarious watching him get burned. Like, you're just like, what are you doing?
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, you know, as a Giants fan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trash. He's just tripped. That double move, he's trash. But
I've said it before. I think Eli Apple was born white. He's just been burnt to look like that.
But I'll say this. That Ravens defense is fucking good. When you see it live, like the Bengals we all know what the Bengals have offensively. But those quick hitters to Chase or Boyd or Higgins, none of that shit works on the Ravens. Like, you're going to do that 2-yard catch and you're going to break it to 15. Nope. Those guys are on the ball. They tackle. And if you like watching a fun defense and a defense that gets to the ball, they're a fun team to watch live, that Ravens defense. But at the end of the game, it was that turnover. That, you know, that's the difference. And moving forward, I think the Bengals and Bills will be a good game. But I'm like you. I don't know what to make of it. Joe Burrow is basically, he's back where he was last playoffs. Offensive line.
Yeah.
So he's running for his life, and he just can't make the mistakes.
Now, the Bills defense hasn't been playing nearly as well as they started to play the year. The Chiefs defense is not good. So you're looking at a situation where maybe you get through, but it's like,
you got to run the ball though. Joe, they had 51 rushing yards. And I know the Ravens D is great, but like my figure for a team like the Bengals, 80 minimum, 85 to 90 rushing yards.
But between the Bengals offensive line problems, the Josh Allen ball recklessness, and the Bills' lack of defense lately. I like, again, I filled out my playoff bracket, and I had a Chargers team upsetting a Chiefs team. The Chargers blow that game. Brandon Staley should be fired. You should be the new fucking coach, since you look like Brandon Staley, by the way. And now I'm suddenly like, are the Niners winning the Super Bowl over the Chiefs? Like, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm like, is Brock Purdy winning the fucking Super Bowl? And is he playing the Chiefs because now the Chiefs suddenly have like...
Well, here's the thing about Brock. Brock had a great game, and we haven't obviously talked about that. Brock had a great game, but do you think that's just like, okay, the Seahawks, what they are as a team finally got caught up in the second half?
Yes and no. I mean, I think, it's funny because in the end, they got blown out. But Tug and I are on this show last week saying like, oh, the fucking Seahawks could put a scare in them. And they did. And they were right there. And yeah, it's like they're, they turned back into a pumpkin, but it was that one play. It was the one turnover when they're going down, like the swing on the strip sack.
Geno Smith.
Yeah. Is everything. But that's sort of separate. Like, the thing about the Niners is like the familiarity and the Pete Carroll-ness and all the thing is why I thought the Seahawks had a chance. And for somebody who said the Seahawks had a chance and picked the Seahawks to cover, despite the fact they got blown out, I'm like, they kind of did what I thought they would.
Yeah.
And then the wheels came off.
Just came off.
But when you look at that, is like the Niners are just they're gonna fucking wear you down, dude. Like, they're gonna keep playing their game. Can you do it with them? They're gonna play defense. They're gonna get after you. They have crazy game breakers on offense in fucking Debo and McCaffrey, and Ayuk is not too fucking bad either. And Purdy, though, he's not game managing, man. He's making he made great plays. His mobility and the way he would like reset himself, and he's scrambling away, but then he's like turning his shoulders to reset to make some of the throws. I mean, there was one play that it went off of whoever's hands in the back of the end zone. It was like the scramble throw of the year. It just happened to be dropped, but like, he looks fucking good.
Yeah. No, he
doesn't
does.
look like he's managing them.
No, he's not. And he looks good. And right now they play the winner of tonight's Bucs Cowboys game. Right?
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
Give me the Niners.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like that.
I like the Niners in the Super Bowl.
We all know. Well, that's what I've been saying. I've been saying that all along too. We all know what happened the last time the Bucs went there. I don't have any more faith in the Cowboys
to not turn to play the game that the like. I have the same feeling about the Cowboys as I do about the Seahawks. Like, you'll play it close for a little while, but then how long until Dak turns the ball over, and then goodbye, we're running away. You give us one little opening, we're not going to take the foot off the gas. Shanahan, like Tug texted us during the game, he just schemes guys so open. And you know what the difference is between, you look at a couple years ago when we would talk about McVay and Goff, and even last year, it's like the way McVay would scheme Cooper Kupp open, wide open, to the tune of Cooper Kupp winning the fucking triple crown of receiving. That's cool. When you scheme Debo Samuel open that way, it's a whole different fucking story.
Bro.
He's just like, I'm gone.
Dude. This is a stud. I agree with you. I like the Niners making the Super Bowl. Now, the Niners-Eagle, if that was a Niners-Eagles championship game, it'd be interesting for sure. I'd like to see some more upsets along the way. Like, we'll see what happens. I just looked. Dude, Buffalo's a 5.5-point favorite. Like, again, I'm scratching is there something I'm missing, man? They were 13.5 last week. They're 5.5 on the Bengals?
No, I don't think so. And I think that game's going to be a fucking coin flip. I have no idea who wins that game. I picked the Bills to win that game. But
it sucks for Bengals fans because you were there. And I know there's 2 drives. I just think the Bengals came ready for that game. I just think they came ready to put up points. At the end of the day.
Well, listen.
Do you think DeMar Hamlin shows up that game?
I don't know. Probably.
What's Josh Allen's deal, man? Because we haven't talked about that at all.
In terms of
he just makes some reckless turnovers.
Yeah.
Is that going to be his MO now, the rest of his career? Like, that's what you get. You get the greatness with the wildness, the Brett Favre stuff.
I think a little bit. And I know I hinted at this earlier, but dare I say, listen, he had Dable and he groomed him into being what he became, which last year was just like so elite, right?
Well, his third year, he was second in MVP voting.
Right. And then when he leaves, I think that there's something when it comes to not like strategy or not like whatever, but there's like a little bit of a power. Like I think Ken Dorsey's their OC now, right?
He is, correct.
And it's like, suddenly, is it really like, is it more of like is the power dynamic change where now this guy who was your mentor, who like whatever, who like built you into an actual professional quarterback's gone, and then you have MVP quality success, and now the guy who's just like also in the offensive room with you, who's like assisting, is your guy, is there a little bit where it's like maybe he isn't playing with like a little bit of that fear that you have of like, don't fuck up. Like, dude, I'll just say, I mean, I know this is becoming like a Brian Dable suck fest, but like, God, I don't know what you want, but like, if you go back to, it was week fucking 1, dude. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember where I was watching the game, but we all remember how this now kind of legendary first year of a coaching season has started. They go to Tennessee and they win on the 2-point conversion call, right? Earlier in that game, the Giants are like playing like with a chance to win that game. Daniel Jones throws, and I tweeted it, the worst pick I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He just like, a guy was straight up covered. They didn't need to go. Like they could have kicked a field goal. They're down at the goal line. A guy's fully covered and he just tries to force it in. It's the worst to this day. It's the worst interception I've ever seen. Dable undressed him on the sideline. Dable just fucking, it was like watching a nun like scream at a fucking schoolboy. I couldn't believe he didn't hit him with a ruler. Like it was fucking, it was straight up awkward to watch as an adult male watching 2 other, like you're both adults. Like you're not, are you allowed to just like spank other adult men on national TV? I don't think you can spank dudes. He was like spanking him. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like, then you come to where we are now, and Daniel Jones is like some mistake-free football guru. It's like, I think there is something in those relationships. Is Josh Allen have like a little bit too much leash now to just like, hey, I'm the fucking man and I'll do whatever the fuck I want. It's like Brett Favre kind of lived that lifestyle. And like, yeah, I think if you're Josh Allen, you've got to get that shit under control.
And obviously he's won some playoff games. He's 4-3, I think.
Sure.
But like, it's interesting that you were talking earlier about Phillip Rivers, because forever you had in the AFC, you had the Tom Brady and the Peyton Manning rivalry. And then Phillip Rivers was like always lurking. And I'm just making this comparison because it almost feels, in my opinion, like now we in a way, because Burrow's beaten Mahomes 3 times. It's like, is it going to be Burrow, Mahomes? Does that make sense? Is it going to be Burrow, Mahomes with Allen like Allen kind of as the Phillip Rivers character? Or is it going to be, is Burrow kind of the Phillip Rivers character? But he's really not, because he already made the Super Bowl. Like, so right. I wouldn't even say that. Does that make sense? Where it's like Mahomes has been to 2 Super Bowls, Burrow's been to 1, and Allen hasn't been to any.
I mean,
Like,
I'll say this, like when you go back to all the things, just like the styles in these relationships that we're talking about, Brady always had Belichick. Dude, Brady could have won 15 Super Bowls. No one, there's no like, who's the man on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
Like Brady was never the man on the fucking Patriots sideline. He's the man on the offensive bench, and he's the man when Josh McDaniels puts a fucking thing in his face. But like, there's no power struggle between Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
And if there is, it might be why he's gone eventually. You know what I mean? Then you have Peyton Manning and the coaches he had. But didn't it always feel like Peyton Manning, it was like Archie's always watching? Like he's always like, he's not going to do some cowboy shit because like there's some weird fucking quarterback. Like Peyton's almost playing for the fucking, like the royalty, you know? Peyton's playing for the queen. Like,
yeah.
Like there's, and same thing with Eli and fucking God knows Arch is going to come around. It's like, these guys are like worried about like quarterback history, lineage, like in the grand scheme.
Like the Kennedys.
Phillip Rivers is like cursing and throwing reckless picks from time to time. And you're like throwing his helmet and shit. And you're like, that a little like, who is his fucking sideline dad? You know?
Yeah.
Did Dable, did Josh Allen losing his sideline dad? Is that why he becomes the Phillip Rivers?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying. Like, and I'm not calling him the Phillip Rivers yet. I'm just saying, if you lose to Burrow, and again, I should stop doing this because it's a team. But if you lose to the Bengals, obviously Burrow's the face of the team. Again, you're suddenly like, okay, here we are again. Most likely another back-to-back Bengals, Chiefs, a la Colts, Patriots. It's like, here we are again, the two quarterback faces. It's like, then suddenly Josh Allen does kind of turn into that Phillip Rivers where you're saying, dude can make hella plays.
That's the thing. I think this game is just so huge for all of these parties involved. It's like, and I've been talking about this for the whole fucking season. Somebody has to play both these teams. Somebody has to play, and basically it's going to be the winner of the Bills Bengals game has to play two of those three teams. They have to then go play probably the Chiefs unless the Jaguars are managed to come up with a huge upset. And it's like coming into the playoffs, I was like down on the Chiefs, and now I'm suddenly like, well, they got to bye. They play a fucking coaching tree guy. And then they're going to come off they're going to get to play a team that's coming off of this historic rematch after this fucking devastating thing and blah, 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 blah. They've already played two games. I'm like, the AFC's heavy.
Yeah, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. And
going into the playoffs, we're also like, look at the quarterbacks and the fucking, remember when we were like, look at the quarterbacks in the AFC top to bottom. Great. And now we're fucking through Super Wildcard Weekend. It's like, are Brock Purdy and Daniel Jones the best quarterbacks alive? And then the AFC is also really fun.
I'm not saying that. You crazy person. I do think Joe Burrow didn't even have to, he played as efficiently last night. But can we just say Joe Burrow is breaking every Bengals / Andy Ruther curse? Can we just admit it? I tweeted it. I'm just saying, guys, the Bengals, I saw this today, and I think Jay Sizzle tweeted this, and I grabbed that graphic. The Bengals, it's like you don't realize sometimes because you're from the city. The Bengals had 5 playoff wins from 1968 to 2021. Guys, 5 playoff wins from 1968 to 2021. Since Joe Burrow was drafted, they have 4 more. Like, he's almost equaled the amount of playoff wins, in 60 plus years in his 3rd season. He will equal that if he beats the Bills. So like his effect, and I want to say this, and I know you're like, I can't believe you're bringing up Lions, but this is my point, Lions fans. The Bengals are the former Lions. Like we were like, it was like a group, right? Like that's why you need and I know it's not easy. You need like a Joe Burrow type guy to just change everything, right? People forget the Chiefs have done so well, and obviously they won a playoff game before Mahomes became the quarterback. But Joe, how many years did the Chiefs go without winning a playoff game?
Right.
They went like 20-something plus years.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes shows up. Now they won one with Alex Smith. I know that, but it's like then Patrick Mahomes shows up and it's like game changer. Same thing for Buffalo. Suddenly the expectation is Super Bowl. And that, to go briefly back to the Chargers, that's where they need to be. When you have Justin Herbert's talent, you need to be like, it's making the Super Bowl, not blowing 27-point leads. Who do you think wins tonight? Are you still think Dallas wins tonight?
I do. But I'm not super confident in it. But yeah, I think Dallas wins tonight.
So I just popped over to Prize Picks.
By the way, we went over on didn't we go more than on Gino Purdy?
We did.
Bam.
We hit.
Yeah, we hit.
Right now they have Tom Brady tonight on Prize Picks. Why is this so high? I would just go less. 274.5 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm gonna go less.
What about interceptions?
Yeah, can we go Dak interceptions?
Dude, you know what's funny? Dak's not even listed. Brady's at half.
Dak, they've pulled off
because they don't want to lose money. Prize Picks is like, we're not going to mess with that. If you guys haven't downloaded Prize Picks, do it right now. It's our official daily fantasy sports sponsor. Make sure you use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. All first-time users, as a reminder, at deposit and use promo code DIRTY will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. You're just playing against the projections. So go ahead and do that today. Do you want to do any calls?
Yeah. You said you had another one lined up, didn't you?
Yeah, let's do a couple calls. 310-359-8365. I do have to allude to something I just saw in the YouTube comment section. It looks like a Bengals DirtBall called Burrow our savior. Ruther said he refused to play here. He should refuse to play here when he got drafted. That's hilarious. I did say that. I said that. I underestimated Burrow. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying.
You also underestimated Zach Taylor. This guy what's this guy got to do, Andy?
I was not liking the play calling last night. I'm not going to sit here and ream Taylor. I won't. But I just think I thought, and whatever, it's one game. I thought they got too complacent. And I think you'd agree. I know Burrow's under a lot of fire because the O-line now is kind of sus again. But I just thought they're up 7 with 9 minutes to go. I think they had the ball 2 or 3 more times. And it was like, hey, let's do a 2-yard handoff to Mixon on first down. My thing is, you are making these great season runs because of your quarterback. You just got to trust him. Right? You just got to trust him.
Absolutely. But you got to play the long game too. They win, they survive, got to keep this guy on the field.
Sure. No, you're right. So here's an interesting football question. I'm going to play this, Joe. I think you'll like this one. And I think it's not a crazy idea, but we all know it would never happen.
Hey, what's going on? It's Troy from Jersey. So basically, I'm just asking, it's probably going to get brought up in this episode anyway. The Bears are the number 1. Do you trade Justin Fields if you really like a quarterback? I mean, if you are clear that you like Young or Stroud, who I assume are going to be the top 2, would you ship them off? I mean, it's not that I know there's a lot of people are saying they're doing it for, if someone trades up, yada, yada. But, I mean, it's not – if you don't really like Fields as a passer, which I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to be hurt a lot. Like, I would do it in a heartbeat. And you can get a decent amount of Fields now that you think with, his value's up now, then why the fuck wouldn't you do it? I want to hear your thoughts on that from this draft, but it's just like an interesting thing. I just don't really like Fields, to be honest. Anytime a fan base is insecure about a quarterback, like I've seen with Bears, quarterback shit. That thing with Bears now, I saw it with Dolphins, and I saw it with Vikings. Again, Cousins and Tua, fuck them. And you know what? I'll add on to that Cowboys as well. But anyway, that's all I want to ask. I'm sure you guys might be talking about it regardless. Anyway, condoms are for Chargers. Go Jags.
Wow, called that one. That was before last episode. Well, it is interesting, right? You have the number 1 pick. You just got a quarterback. And I agree. Like, I don't. I think here's a fun point that he brought up, which I don't think people talk enough about. And I think he's right. Like, when your fan base is nervous about you, I know it's only been a couple years. I think it matters. Like they don't have trust. I don't have trust in Justin Fields at all.
The situation with Justin Fields is complicated for a number of reasons and how it relates to this specific draft, which is you have an opportunity here to trade out of the 1 spot and get probably a good draft haul for it, which you can use to build your team, which was the worst in football. That gives you an opportunity to continue to evaluate Justin Fields and find a quarterback later on, right? So that's a strategy. The other strategy is obviously you like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. You take them and you trade Justin Fields. Now, the first option that we talked about is very doable, right? You don't actually have to make any sort of financial commitment to Justin Fields yet. You get to evaluate him. You're definitely getting draft picks. I guess, like off the top of your head, first one that comes to mind, who's trading for Justin Fields? What team is like, yep, Justin Fields puts us over the top. Let's go get us some Justin Fields. We want in the Justin Fields business. The Jets are suddenly contenders because they got Justin Fields. Does Justin Fields to the Jets make them better than Derek Carr to the Jets?
No.
Does Justin Fields to the Raiders make them AFC West contenders?
No.
Does Justin Fields to the Panthers make them, I don't know what,
500?
Maybe it makes them, maybe you really believe in Justin Fields and now makes you the best team in the NFC South next year, but probably not an NFC championship game participant. Where is this team
Good
that
point.
gives you some sort of draft capital because they get put over the top by Justin Fields?
I agree. Like, look, because in Justin Fields, obviously, again,
The Saints, like, I just don't like where are we going? Like, there are people who are split on Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And if you're one of the people that believes in him, that's fine. I'm not sure what I believe yet. Personally, I'm more of I don't think quarterbacks that need to run to succeed have long-term longevity. Okay.
And that's me too. It's like,
I also don't know how good a passer Justin Fields is.
I don't know either.
Offensive line fucking stinks and he has no weapons and whatever. But I can tell you one thing for sure about Justin Fields. He has not shown me in that debacle of a situation that if I pluck him out of that debacle of a situation and put him on a good team, that suddenly he makes us better.
Yeah.
Is he better than Geno Smith, where the Seahawks go and take some of that Broncos draft capital and they go get Justin Fields and now they're going to win the NFC West next year? I just don't know who makes that, like, who's doing this trade.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Maybe there's a team that will do that trade because they want to take a shot on Justin Fields. But are they going to give you the same capital that you would get for trading the 1 pick? And then you could just figure out your quarterback later on? If it's not Justin Fields?
Like, personally, I would not want a QB, again, that has to run. I want athletic, mobile QBs. That's the modern game, man. You got to be able to move. All these guys. the best QBs. They can move in the pocket.
Let's say Bill Belichick sees it. I believe we get Justin Fields. We can contend with the fucking Bills. Right? Let's say he believes that. What's Belichick offering you? I'll give you 2/4 and a third.
I don't know.
I just don't know where this team exists where you're doing better in draft capital. You're obviously not doing better. Where you're even doing close to in draft capital what you would do for the 1 pick. And then at least you've fucking solved some other problems. And then you can figure out Fields. And then you can figure out like Stroud and Young aren't the last quarterback prospects for fucking the rest of mankind. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, take your draft capital, build a team.
Well, look,
take Arch Manning in 2 years.
And yeah, and even those guys would come across mine and your big name quarterbacks, from big name schools. Stroud's from Ohio State.
I like Bryce Young. I like the way he moves.
Young.
I like the way he throws. Young. I don't like how big he is. But also, I don't like him enough where if I'm the Bears, I'm like, he's changing our team. If I look at Bryce Young, I'm like, Bryce Young's not our savior.
Yeah. No, I know. I agree. No, I fully agree. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. There's definitely concerns with his height.
But if you're the fucking Seahawks sitting there and you have your fucking Broncos picks to fucking play with, do you move up to get Bryce Young? And now you have like a little fucking Russ. I don't even want to say knockoff Russ, but I want to say like Russ 2.0, small, wily, way more groomed at this age. And you plug him into a team that's already made the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't hate it. He's also from California. He's already a West Coast guy. Not that matters, but like, he's a West Coast kid. Speaking of that, perfect timing, Joe. You didn't even realize that. We have a call from CT, Hall of Fame DirtBall CT, formerly from Seattle.
Gentlemen, CT formerly from Seattle, lifelong Seattle Kraken fan calling in, Kraken on a roll, by the way. Congratulations, cheers to Joe's Giants for beating the fraudulent Vikings. Andy, hoping your Bengals can pull out this win. It's currently halftime. Quick question for you fellas. I'm throwing a Super Bowl party. What snacks and games do you want to see at a Super Bowl party? I make mean nachos with Juanita chips. Juanita's maybe like a Pacific Northwest kind of chip, but my nachos are supreme. And then my wife makes great jalapeno poppers. So those are two things going to be here. Of course, we're going to have the fridge stocked full of Miller Lite, no other beer. But, guys, if you're going to a Super Bowl party, what do you want to see on the spread? And also, what kind of games do you like to see there? We play the square game where people win money at the end of quarters based on the score. It's kind of the only football small gambling game I know. If you guys have any other ideas or must-have snacks at the Super Bowl party, love to hear them. Also, shout out to whenever DirtBall works at Amendment 21, the bar here in the Tri-Cities. I will be there, and I will share some advice with you. CT out. Stay dirty.
So you know what this got me thinking of hearing his call? You're gonna love this. It's classic me. So, first of all, an easy one. Costco has wings in bulk that are legit that I discovered actually last football season. Like Costco wings, if you want to save money, and if you own an air fryer, here we go, Praino. I love the air fryer. Guys, quick update. Got that air fryer for Christmas. I love that shit. Now, I'm not going to be tweeting about it. I'm not going to be, I'm already doing it. I'm already raving it. Dude, I love the air fryer. I'm just saying, You throw those wings in the air fryer. I got home last night late after it was a late game, and I went to one of the bars with my sister-in-law and her friend, and I'm just saying, I got home late last night. I had some chicken fingers. I had some things I could reheat. Just threw it in that air fryer, man. I'm team air fryer is what I'm saying.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, because I feel like you're judging me. I feel like you're judging me.
No, I explained that to you. I just said the simple fact of the matter is I was just like, it's the thing all of a sudden, it's like everybody wants to fucking do their air fryer. It's like, dude, when I was at your place, you got the Jets pizza. I threw the Jets pizza in the air fryer, but like, and to reheat it, let's not act like it's like, yeah, it's better than a microwave, guys. But it's not like it's like a goddamn game-changing fucking lifesaver. Like, okay, you can bake wings, you can actually fucking fry wings, but like I know and honestly, that's the selling point of your air frying, which is like, I want to actually fry things, but I don't want to deal with oil and frying or whatever. Okay. I like to make wings in my air fryer. I don't want to deal with frying wings. Great. That's a solid play. But being like, try heating pizza up, and it's like, try heating pizza up in your fucking in an oven, in a frying pan, and whatever. Like, it's not that fucking big a deal.
Yeah.
Now,
no, I get
to answer CT's question, here's because I've got all. First of all, Super Bowl parties for me, I think it's pretty basic. I like having pizza. I like having wings.
Yeah.
I like having queso. Sounds like his nachos are in place of a queso. And I've said it before, but like a queso and like a fucking slow cooker. Now, you want to stand a fucking appliance.
Oh yeah.
Stand a slow cooker. But I like to go pizza, wings, queso, and or nachos. Since CT's a nacho guy, I like to have a vegetable situation. Just so I don't feel like
you want to have the veggie sitch, huh?
I like to start out with the veggies with the dip, because that way, like, I can always go back to it for a palate cleanser if I'm eating pizza and wings and queso. It's like, give me a little greenery just to keep everything.
A little buffalo dip.
Buffalo dip, great, sure. And then easiest question ever: what kind of games you have? CT. You take the number of people in your that go to your party, -1, go to the list of first touchdown scorers, take, like, let's say you have 25 people at your party, take the top 24 options, okay, write them down on a piece of paper. The one left person, you write field, so they get every single person that was not there, and it might be, defensive player, it might be whatever. All in a hat, everybody picks one, you get who you get. Now, if you were doing that, if you were gambling on that, let's say it's the Super Bowl and it's, Bills fucking Niners, sure, Debo's number is going to be way higher than a defensive player on the Bills or whatever, but that's the fun in it. We used to do that for the Kentucky Derby. We put all the horses in, and you just everybody throws in $10 or whatever, winner gets the whole pot, and you just pull a name. You pull a name, first touchdown scorer. And the fun part of that is, like, yeah, you might pull somebody with super high odds, or you might pull somebody with super low odds, but like either way, you're getting paid. So yeah. I like that. That's my game to play along with the boxes.
Yeah, and like, I agree with you on food. Just keep it simple, man. Like pizza. Anytime I'm doing some sort of get together, I always say, what are most people gonna like? Like, you want to appeal to the masses, right? And who doesn't like pizza? Like, honestly, legit question, have you ever met anyone who doesn't like pizza? Ever?
Yeah, probably.
You have?
At some point, probably.
I don't know a single person I've ever met that doesn't like pizza. Now, if you had a catered Subway situation, not good.
Yeah, I was literally just staring out I'm staring out over the horizon here in Vegas, just being like, I can't believe I have 2 more sandwiches to eat. It's devastating.
So you ate a whole one.
I ate a whole one. And I'm gonna eat half of another one after this podcast, just because I'm like, if I don't start breaking these up into halves, it's gonna really take a toll.
What time do you have to perform?
7 and 9:30.
Oh,
every night here at 7 and 9:30. 2 shows every single day, Monday to Sunday. Come out and see me. Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas, inside the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino.
So could you pop out of the comedy club's in the same hotel you're staying to take a dump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can.
You can't, okay.
I will.
I was just saying, man.
I might have to dump in the green room bathroom, which is unfortunate, but
ooh. Apologies to the other comics.
There's also casino floor bathroom. You know those. I mean, the people. I won't be the first person that took a disgusting subway dump in the Rio casino bathroom.
Well, Joe, as a former,
I'm not gonna be the first person that is shitting out 3 full footlongs in a Rio casino bathroom. That's a lot of people in Vegas's go-to fucking diet.
So as a former employee, I should say, of the Rio, I know for sure I've taken dumps in the floor bathroom. Not from Subway though. Not to my knowledge, but good luck with that.
I really didn't have breakfast today. I had like a little bagel on my way out the door. So technically I've had a Dangerwich for lunch, and I'll have a Dangerwich for dinner. At the absolute latest, we're going to be 3 straight meals: lunch, dinner, breakfast tomorrow. And then these Dangerwiches will be gone. I might end up eating all 3 of them today just because I don't even want this to roll into tomorrow. I don't want to ruin a second day with it.
Yeah.
We'll see how my body handles it. Because I already don't want to eat another.
Well, it is really similar to Kirk Cousins. It's like you saw it coming. You didn't, I'm talking about rational Vikings fans now. Like you saw it coming. You saw the team performance and the Kirk Cousins just, again, you can say he had a fine game, but the one play. And you didn't want to face it, but like you just got to face it and get it over with.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up because I might have to go drop my first check down in TJ Hawkinson, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. All right. That's our show. Call us 310-359-8365. Follow us on social media at The Dirty Sports.
I'm at Joe Praino on all social media, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me on all those. Hopefully, Nikki D, our boy Nikki D, working on a new clip for me of a bit that I've been trying to get out there for a little while now. So keep your eye on my Instagram and TikTok for what will certainly be a very polarizing stand-up bit that will hopefully take the world by storm. I'm also on Twitter at Fix Your Life. I'm at the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas all week from today through Sunday, 2 shows every single night. Be watching football here all weekend. And then next weekend, if you're in North Carolina, guys, please get your tickets now. Dead Crow Comedy Room in Wilmington. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. So excited. It's such a great club. My first time headlining it. I worked it with Eddie Ift last year as a feature. Can't wait to come down there and do an hour. I'll be at Sketchfest in San Francisco the first weekend of February. And then I will be in San Diego in mid-February for a couple shows. So go to joeprano.com/shows. Just revamped the calendar. Should be way easier to click around now. So let me know if you have any questions or any trouble. But yeah, come see a show.
Cool. All right. We're all wrapped up here, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.